Somewhere out in the Mojave Desert, buried beneath decades of denial and sand, there's a door. A rusted vault sealed shut by a government that swore it didn't exist. What is behind it? Not aliens, not ghosts, not weapons, but something worse. Humans turned monsters, limbs twisted by science, minds shattered by screams, claws like butcher hooks, bodies massive and strong, eyes that remember everything done to them in the dark. They were built to fight wars, to kill, to devastate, but they only learned how to kill. But what do you do when the ultimate deadly weapon resurfaces? Welcome to Project Black Garden, a Monsters and Myths podcast. Season 3, The Lotus Files. File number 377. My name is Michael. Allow me to introduce you to the haunting and terrible legend of Boxcar Ellie and the hubris of man when their creations go rogue. This week's episode begins in the wake of World War II. With the Cold War intensifying, the U.S. government launched a covert scientific program under the Department of Advanced Warfare, codenamed Project Harrogate. Officially, it was a biological enhancement initiative designed to explore human resilience and super strength potential. Unofficially, it was a desperate arms race against rumors that the Soviets were developing organic weapons, humans mutated into war machines, or worse, using specially designed military bunkers in Devil's Crest, New Mexico. Harrogate scientists began genetic experimentation on prisoners, war veterans with no families, and undocumented citizens who had simply disappeared. These subjects became known as the Clawborn. Initial tests involved gamma irradiated serums mixed with reptilian and predator DNA to enhance reflexes, skin durability, stealth, and strength. But some of the side effects ended up being quite horrifying. Some subjects grew 7 to 9 feet tall, muscle tissue tearing and reforming, hands and fingers mutated into bone-hardened claws, eyes turned solid black or blood red, unable to handle sunlight, skin split and calcified, forming organic armor plates. While most died during transformation, a few survived, but quickly lost all traces of humanity. These beings were locked away in cryostasis deep beneath the base. One scientist's journal described the moment subject number 47 escaped containment. She howled like metal being torn in half. Her claws raked through reinforced doors like they were aluminum foil. She screamed names none of us had ever heard or said aloud. She remembered what we did to her. She knew. In the early 80s, after several containment breaches, Harrogate was buried, literally. The government detonated parts of the base, sealing it under a mountain. Survivors were sworn to secrecy or be assassinated. Unofficially, a few of them were. But sightings of clawed giants wandering the deserts, breaking into remote cabins, and leaving behind shredded carcasses began to circulate on fringe forums of early versions of the internet and conspiracy radio shows. They were referred to as the Rippers. One managed to call them by their real name, the Clawborn, and some mistakenly were seen as other cryptids such as Bigfoot or Yeti. It is rumored that one small, independent radio show managed to dig up the name Project Black Garden in its research of these Clawborn monsters, and they tied it to these experiments as if a seed planted in darkness, now sprouting monsters. The radio show was immediately shut down, all copies of any of its episodes destroyed, and no one knows what happened to the hosts or anyone who had anything to do with the show. In the 2010s, the government resurrected the Harrogate files under a new name, Project Grimm, Genetic Reconstruction Initiative for Militarized Mutations. Using the new technology from CRISPR, nanotech, and this new brain mapping AI, they began controlled human-monster fusions once again. This time, even more powerful, and unfortunately, more deadly. As of today, only one of the creations survived the full transformation. A young orphan girl named Sarah Wren. They gave her the code name Goliath. But it seems that Sarah is losing control. Rogue surveillance footage leaked onto the internet shows her tearing through entire training facilities during a blackout. She was stopped this time with only a couple dozen deaths by her hands. And now, the government decides what to do with their greatest weapon. And this is where our story picks up. A black, unmarked military train rolled through the Colorado backwoods at midnight. No manifest, no crew logs, no stops. It had 17 boxcars. 16 were locked and humming with cold containment. So many military secrets. The 17th, painted with the number 31773, was chained, bolted, and wrapped in 10 inches of cold rolled steel. Until it wasn't. At 12:46 a.m., the secret train derailed. Metal screamed, sparks lit up the pines. The tankers flipped with a vengeance. Boxcars crumbled like tin cans. And one, Boxcar 31773, it tumbled end over end before cracking open like a monstrous egg. And from this wreckage crawled something huge, broken, bleeding, angry, and sobbing. Amid the fire and twisted steel, one lone train crewman managed to survive, his legs pinned under a collapsed car. He screamed for help, even though he knew it was hopeless. Waves of pain and desperation overcame him. And the more he screamed, the more he knew no one was coming. Until she did. 9 feet tall, muscle-corded limbs ending in black claws. One glowing bluish eye, the other swollen shut. Her back was studded with spines, bone-like and horrifying. Her skin cracked and seething with what looked like human blood. A monster crawling out of the fire like a demon from hell. Her breath came in high, rasping gasps. The man, with what little energy he had left, cried out in terror. And as she approached, he gave up all hope. He said, "Please, don't kill me." But the monster, she whimpered back, "Ow?" Her hand was massive, clawed, but gentle. She brushed debris from his head, tilted hers, then grabbed the edge of the boxcar. With a sobbing scream, she lifted it, letting the crewman crawl free. With a flick of her wrist, she tossed what was left of the boxcar as if it was made of cardboard. Then she collapsed again, clutching a burned doll to her chest. Its tag barely legible, but written in Korean was one word: Ren. And that's when she did something that stunned the man even more than just being alive and in front of him. She cried like a scared child lost in a nightmare. At approximately 02:40 in the morning, my great-uncle's secret Black Ops team, Team Hell, landed by stealth helicopter. Their mission: contain the site, recover all assets, neutralize any threats. My great-uncle Sam led a small team this time, with a couple of his favorites: Perez, Hollywood, and a new demolitions expert, call sign Baker. As they moved through the smoke and wreckage, they passed the upside-down boxcar, and Sam quickly recognized that the painted numbers backward spelled out one word: Ellie. Hollywood, taking in the scene, made a quick remark. "That the subject's name?" My great-uncle looked annoyed and ignored him. Perez leaned over to him and whispered, "Well, maybe now it is." They all didn't know at the time, but she was still there. They found the wounded crewman first. He was in shock, but alive. As Hollywood and Perez secured the area, my great-uncle Sam interrogated him politely, but with intensity. When he asked what happened, all he could say was, "She didn't attack me. She saved me." Sam leaned in and asked, Who saved you?" But before he could answer him, the forest went still. Then a branch snapped, then another, followed by a massive shadow that moved between the trees. The ground began to shake, and a pounding echoed in everyone's ears. It sounded like another locomotive, getting closer by the second. Thum, thum, thum. Boxcar Ellie burst from the tree line, roaring in pain and confusion. Her one good eye glowing, locked on them. Blood streaked down her arms. Her claws scraped through trees as if they were made of paper. Physically, she was a monster from a nightmare, and lived up to all the training footage that the team had been shown in a classified debriefing before they deployed. Hollywood whispered, "She's definitely a monster." And when she heard him, her face twisted with fear, not hate. But Hollywood was taking no chances. He tightened his stance, raised his rifle, as Perez, standing next to him, held her ground. That's when Sam noticed. Wait, she's limping. But Hollywood had already fired one of his massive stun darts. It hit directly in her collarbone. She howled and it echoed everywhere. In a blink of an eye, she charged. The ground shook as she lunged forward, flipping their helicopter like a toy. Her claw grazed Baker's leg in the process, shredding his armor. Perez and Sam ducked behind the debris, yelling into their headsets. "Subject is here. She's hurt, but looks okay. But something we weren't ready for. It's something we weren't expecting. Her attack, it's not rage. It's emotion." Perez dove forward, sliding under Ellie's massive torso, and jammed another dart into her flank. And Hollywood fired another two. Ellie staggered, collapsed to her knees, and let out a childlike wail that echoed through the valley. She grumbled, "I'm scared." It sounded like broken English, but they felt everything she was feeling. When she finally fell unconscious, Perez whispered to my uncle, "She didn't want to hurt us." Baker knelt down next to one of her bloodied claws and noticed the doll clutched tightly inside her sharp fingers. Hollywood looked at him. "Is that a fucking doll?" My great uncle Sam recognized it immediately, as he had bought one of those branded dolls for one of his nieces a year before as a belated birthday present. Later in the early morning, at base camp, official Black Garden files were decrypted slowly as my great uncle logged in on his secure laptop. He read the files out loud to his team. Project Clawborn. Subject: Sarah Wren. Age: 8. Origin: Camp Dasan, South Korea. Status: hostile. Adaptive bioweapon. She was an orphan taken after a DMZ skirmish. Used in trials to test molecular augmentation serums. Designed to weaponize innocence. Her growth was uncontrolled, her mind partially intact. She clung to the only memory that she associated with happiness, her doll. It was, basically, all she had. The doll was her family. Moments later, the team found themselves standing over her containment pod. She was sedated, curled up, like a child sleeping through a nightmare. Perez crossed her arms and asked, "This feels weird. What do we do? She's just a little girl." Baker huffed. "We classify her." Hollywood threw his 2 cents in. "As what? A monster? A girl? Both?" Baker turned very serious and said, "No, she's a weapon. And from everything we've seen, she's one of the worst ones we've ever dealt with. I don't think we should let her wake up." Perez didn't like that answer. And she said, "No, she's just a little girl. Her name is Sarah. And she deserved better than this." My great uncle Sam stepped forward and said, "Sarah Wren is dead. She's been dead a long time. And I hate to say it, but it's our government's fault." He looked back over his shoulder at the overturned boxcar, and those 5 numbers burned into his soul. 31773. Upside down, the name Ellie cut into him, and backward or not, that number meant something now. He turned back, placed a calm hand on her pod, and said, "We secure this site, we burn all the records, and Ellie stays with us. We protect her, or we become the real monsters." Weeks later, rumors spread in hushed circles of a hulking, scarred guardian in the Colorado forests. Campers whispered of huge footprints near rivers, of a wailing sound when the wind is right, and of a massive shadow figure that lifted a fallen tree off a trapped child before vanishing into the fog. Not many people believed it, but some still remember that train wreck. Some still fear what she could become. But not my great uncle Sam and Team Hell. They made sure no one, even their bosses deep in the dark, black government, would find her, as all the reports detailed how she gave them no choice, and they had to end her life and destroy her with the rest of the evidence that morning. According to this file, my great uncle Sam retired from active service about 10 years after that derailment. But apparently, he never left Ellie behind. She remained deep in a hidden Colorado valley, far from cities, power lines, and government orders. A black site no longer monitored by satellites, scrubbed from records, kept alive only by Sam's own 2 hands and a quiet promise. Every year, Sam tried to visit that site as many times as he could. Sometimes she wouldn't show, and sometimes she did. She never spoke more than a few words, but over time, the two learned to understand each other. She had outgrown the rage, her body still hulking and scarred, but healed now. And her eyes, they were soft, yet sad. The monster that crawled from the fire and wreckage had become gentle, reflective, even wise in her ways. Sometimes she would sit in silence with him, listen to his stories, get lost in all the adventures and true monsters my great uncle had encountered. And every so often, she would hum him a tune he couldn't place where he had heard it before. One day, he brought her a gift, a small box with a new handmade doll inside. She took it in both claws and smiled faintly. He whispered, "Sarah?" She nodded slowly and whispered back, "Still here." Years later, Sam received a call from Perez. "We found her," she said, voice cracking. She was lying beneath the trees where they first met. Doll in hand, no signs of violence, just stillness. As it turns out, her condition had accelerated her aging, a byproduct of the mutations. They had always known the clock was ticking faster for her, but she held on longer than anyone expected. Probably because of the kindness my great Uncle Sam had shown her. Sam's team buried her there. No military ceremony, no black bags, just an unmarked stone that read, "Here lies Ellie, born in war, died in peace. She saved more than she hurt." One of the last times I talked to my father before he passed, he had mentioned that even years later, hikers still talk about that valley. No one dares build there. The trees grow taller, the animals stay close, and sometimes, in the dead of winter, an old man in a long coat can be seen placing a flower beneath a pine tree, just off from an old set of train tracks. He mumbles to the wind, and he tells the same story every year. She was supposed to be a monster, but she saved me. And this is the story of Boxcar Ellie. All right, gardeners, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. This is one of my favorite monsters. It's pretty unbelievable. And if it hadn't come from the handwriting of someone in my family, I don't know if I would have believed it. But I did some digging on my own. And at the back of another file that has nothing to do with this one, I found a picture. And on the back of it, it had 5 numbers. 31773. And the picture? It was of a baby doll. As always, this has been Project Black Garden, a Monsters and Myths podcast. Season 3, The Lotus Files. I'm your host, Michael. And remember, monsters are real. And sometimes, just sometimes, they're forgotten.